pounds of meat, multiple feet of dough, and one pizza so big it just couldn't be kept down. Literally. Man vs. Food has seen some enormous food challenges, but these pizza monstrosities take the cake. Or, pie. Though it mercifully isn't an eating challenge, in Season 1, Episode 6, Adam Richman spotlights a particularly massive pie, the Meaty Legend, at famed Chicago deep dish purveyor Gino's East. Chicago deep dish pizza is pretty much always substantial, but the Meaty Legend takes things to the extreme, weighing in at more than 8 pounds. That includes 2 pounds from the dough alone, on top of which is more than a pound of mozzarella cheese. Then, on top of that, are a whopping 4 pounds of meats, as well as a pound of sauce, bacon bits, and Romano cheese. That's a lot of pizza. The first proper Man vs. Food pizza challenge takes place in Season 1, Episode 7, when Richmond visits a pizzeria called Big Pie in the Sky in Kennesaw, Georgia. There, he teams up with a previous challenge attempter named Drew Middlebrooks to take a stab at what the pizzeria calls its Carnivore Challenge. The challenge tasks teams of 2 with eating a 30-inch, 11-pound meat lover's pizza in 1 hour. If you win, which nobody had done at the time of filming, you get $250. At first, Richmond and his companion make some promising headway into the oversized slices on their plates. Around the halfway point, however, their momentum slows to a halt, and the team is ultimately disqualified when Middlebrooks can no longer keep the pizza down.
Adam, stop eating. I've been informed that the pizza has exited Drew. At 44 minutes, the competition is over.
Richmond kicks off Man vs. Food Season 2 with a visit to San Antonio, Texas, where he stops at Big Lou's to show off a pizza with a whopping 42-inch diameter. Richmond explains that a single Big Lou 42 weighs an incredible 30 pounds. In fact, it's so big that just one slice rivals the size of an entire personal pizza. While preparing a Big Lou 42 for Man vs. Food, owner Brian Lujan demonstrates his pizza-making prowess by tossing an unbaked 42-inch crust as if it weren't any bigger than a regular pizza. When he begins adding toppings, it turns out that its cheese component accounts for 6 pounds alone, and then almost a dozen more toppings get piled on top to boot before it's baked in a conveyor belt style pizza oven. Once it's served, a single slice of this monstrosity is so substantial, even 2 plates aren't quite enough to hold one in its entirety. Richmond attempts his only Man vs. Food Season 2 pizza challenge in Episode 20, when he visits Randy's Wooster Street Pizza Shop in Manchester, Connecticut for their stuffed pizza challenge. This so-called stuffed pizza is 22 inches in diameter and weighs 10 pounds. Its name refers to the fact that there's a second layer of crust over its toppings, which include 5 kinds of veggies, 2 pounds of meat, and a full 3 pounds of cheese, such that it's almost equal parts pizza and calzone. Just like the Carnivore Challenge, it's up to teams of 2 to finish the stuffed pizza within an hour. At the time of filming, an estimated 99% of challengers had failed the stuffed pizza challenge, earning each of them a spot on Wooster Street Pizza Shop's Wall of Shame. Joining Richmond is Greg Malumi, one of the few to have previously beaten the challenge. Against all odds, Richmond and Malumi finished the 10-pound beast with just 1 second left on the clock, avoiding the pizzeria's Wall of Shame by literally the narrowest margin humanly possible. In Season 3, Episode 2, Richmond spotlights another great pizza at Bojo's in Boulder, Colorado, which is famous for its massive mountain pies. The mountain pie is a Bojo's original. Structurally, this pie is somewhere between a Chicago deep dish and a classic New York slice, with a towering 4-inch braided crust around its perimeter. It allows for a substantial buildup of toppings that would simply not be feasible on a flatter style of pizza. The standard extra large at Bojo's weighs 5 pounds alone, but Richmond finds something even bigger on the menu: the 14-pound Grand Sicilian, which consists of 7 pounds of dough and 20 ounces of marinara sauce, as well as 7 pounds of cheese and other toppings. Casey Webb debuts as the second host of Man vs. Food in Season 5, Episode 1, stopping at Vinny's Pizzeria in Brooklyn, New York for a pizza-topped pizza complete with its own edible pizza packaging. Yes, it's the infamous pizza box pizza. Its base is a standard pepperoni pie, but that's topped with smaller slices of a second pepperoni pizza. Upping the wow factor and providing the item with its name is a pizza box made almost entirely out of pizza. Whereas the base and its topping are New York pizzas, the bottom of the box is Sicilian, which is a doughier rectangular style. The only component that's not fully pizza is the box's lid, which consists of pizza dough made into a garlic bread, which is just as well. Anything more might be considered overkill. Webb's first official pizza challenge is in Man vs. Food Season 6, Episode 4, at Schiappa's Pizza and Pasta in Lebanon, Illinois. The challenge, along with a partner, Webb must completely finish a 29-inch 4-topping pizza in just 30 minutes in order to receive 1 free pizza every month for a year. Aiding Webb in the 29-inch pizza challenge is Ryan Masson, who had previously succeeded at the challenge 10 years earlier, and Masson has some key insight, suggesting that they choose green pepper, onion, mushrooms, and black olives as their toppings, as he feels they would be the least filling options. Webb, however, can't help himself and adds a pepperoni smiley face on top of everything. Maybe that extra pepperoni makes a difference, because Webb and Masson are unable to down the whole thing in time.
You didn't win, so you're not going to get a t-shirt, and you're not going to be on the Hall of Fame.
In Season 7, Episode 11, Webb visits the pizza stand at the 7th Street Truck Park in St. Paul, where he orders a huge, uniquely Minnesotan pie called the Minnesota Wild Pizza. One Minnesota Wild Pizza is 2 feet in diameter, but what really puts the pizza over the top are its elk and boar sausage toppings. Slices of both kinds of sausage sit on an otherwise standard bed of marinara sauce, mozzarella cheese, and mushrooms. Webb and Chef Brian Ingram cut one huge pizza into just 4 pieces. Each slice looks like it's about equivalent to a personal pie, upping the wow factor even further. New York-style pizza isn't just served up in New York, something Webb finds out the hard way when he takes on the Bronx Bomber Challenge at Rockefeller's Pizza in Sharonville, Ohio in Season 7, Episode 12. As is typical for a man versus food pizza challenge, the Bronx Bomber is a 2-person job. Webb decides to partner with a Rockefeller's regular named Derek Jacobs. Together, they must finish one Bronx Bomber, a double-crusted pizza consisting of 8 one-pound slices in just 30 minutes. Webb and Jacobs decide to eat all of the toppings first and save the crusty ends for last since carbs fill the stomach faster. Halfway through the challenge, most of what's left on their plates is crust, but of course, eating what amounts to plain bread on an almost full stomach is no easy task. Nevertheless, they finish with time left on the clock, proving that even if the Bronx Bomber is gargantuan in size, eating a whole one is still just barely within the capabilities of mortal men. In Man vs. Food Season 8, Episode 10, Webb visits Steve's Pizza in Miami, Florida, where he and 2 buddies attempt to polish off a whopping 30-inch, 11-pound pizza pie in 45 minutes. Webb teams with Moises and Curtis Salazar, a father and son local to Miami. The elder Salazar was part of a winning team previously, inspiring his son to take part this time around. Together, they choose pepperoni and green peppers for their toppings, and the pizza is divided into just 8 slices, meaning each slice is genuinely humongous. Partway into the competition, after just about contributing his fair share, the younger Curtis Salazar taps out. His father and Webb are unable to pick up the slack and fall to the 30-inch pizza challenge, surrendering with just over 4 minutes left on the clock.
Guys, I hate to say it, but in a battle of men versus food, unfortunately, food won.
Is a pizza still a pizza no matter what's on top of it? No, this isn't another argument about pineapple, though that's just one of the many things dumped on top of a pizza when Webb takes on the Menu Burger Challenge at the Fox & Hound Smokehouse in State Line, Nevada in Season 11, Episode 7. Serving as the base is a simple personal pepperoni pizza, but on top is piled pulled pork, fried eggs, a cheeseburger patty, bacon, seasoned french fries, chili, and a complete chicken cheesesteak tricked out with pineapple, teriyaki, and jalapeno. Plus, this mess also comes with a standard side salad and a handful of wings. So is it still really a pizza? Hard to say, but regardless, Webb has just an hour to finish it off. He almost does it, but hits the time limit with just a handful of bites left on his plate, leading to a loss in one of the most unconventional pizza challenges in Man vs. Food history.